For generations across Africa, stories have traveled by word of mouth, passed from grandparents to parents to children. But memory is fragile, and every time an elder dies, an entire library risks disappearing forever. For Malika Febwa, that possibility is not something to accept. It's something to fight, not with shelves of dusty documents or forgotten filing cabinets, but with cameras, microphones, and increasingly artificial intelligence, because he believes history should never disappear, simply because no one thought to preserve it.
My latest project is really because, I started with the Elder series. If you know about the project that happened a few years ago, it kind of wanted me to carry on and continue culture, continue heritage. How can we preserve our, cultures and heritage, especially using technology, especially in the age where we're talking about AI, and what role do we play in that space?
His Elder Series project 3 years ago focused on the elderly in Africa. Using artificial intelligence, he created powerful images showing elderly Africans on an imaginary runway and forcing his audience to see them from a completely different light. His latest project, called The Legacy Link, continues from where the Elder Series stopped. It's an ambitious attempt to record the voices, memories, languages, and lived experiences of elderly Africans before time takes them away. Not simply to archive them, but to make them accessible to generations yet unborn.
The Legacy Link is where I interview people that are aged 80 and above to find out what life was like 50, 60 years ago in correlation to what life is like today, and in projection to what life will be 50, 60 years from now. It's not really just about oral history or trying to find out how life was, for the people that lived it, but it's also about training AI systems with factual oral knowledge from people that actually lived in that space. So the next generation, when the next generation want to speak to their ancestors for the first time in history, they can do that.
It sounds almost impossible, but behind the technology is something remarkably human, listening patiently, carefully, one conversation at a time.
We plan to interview over 10 to 20,000 elders, if that's possible, and get that data to train LLMs with them.
Translation can preserve words, but not always meaning. That is why Afegwa says every interview begins where culture lives best, in its own language.
So we like to interview them in their indigenous languages, so that way the language is not, lost as well, and we find a way to translate it with what they translate it for us. So if they're comfortable speaking English, we do that in English. If it's Yoruba, Hausa, Shekiri, literally anything. We actually look for more indigenous languages than English, because that way we want to learn more from the actual dialect and understand from the ground up, not from the top down, before translating into English.
Artificial intelligence, for all its complexity, isn't the storyteller here. It is the librarian, organizing, connecting, and searching.
So first of all, we need to collect this data, then we store this data, we refine the data, we tag, we archive, we properly, place them in the places it's supposed to be placed. But then we now use AI, we train AI systems with it. So AI understands the patterns, first of all, of who they are, where they're from, learn about everything about the cultures. But with that as well, we can now start recreating, stuff from that knowledge based on factual knowledge.
Yet technology alone cannot preserve culture. Artists and historians have always documented societies long before the digital age. It's a further demonstration of the intersection between culture and technology, and how both are now working to preserve local history and heritage. As for Febwa, one day the people sitting in front of his camera will no longer be here, but their voices, their stories, their languages, wisdom, and much more will be, and continue speaking long after they are gone. Perhaps not just because technology replaced them, but because someone cared enough to listen and document. So the future may well be powered by artificial intelligence, but history will always begin with human memory.